Now, after doing the structure of heart, we are moving to cardiac cycle. What is cardiac cycle? We are familiar with the parts of the heart, both the auricles, both the ventricles. Cardiac cycle consists of one heartbeat. What do we mean by one heartbeat? That means the cycle of contraction as well as relaxation of atria and ventricles. Contraction phase is known as the systole phase, while the relaxation is known as diastole. When both atria and ventricles, they are in diastole, in relaxation, that means in a very relaxed phase, we call it joint diastole. Alright, we call it joint diastole. And during this phase, the blood flows from the superior and inferior vena cava. This is the inferior vena cava and this is the superior vena cava. During this time, the blood flows from these two into the atria and to the respective ventricle through the aurioventricular valve, which we have named tricuspid valve here. And this side, the blood is flowing from the auricle into the ventricle through the mitral valve. But there is no flow of blood from the ventricles to the aorta or the pulmonary artery, because here this is the joint diastole where the heart is in a relaxed state. It will be showing all its contractions and relaxations one by one. During this time, joint diastole, the heart is relaxed, blood flows from inferior and superior vena cava into the right atrium, then to the ventricle, and these valves are, these semilinear valves are closed, and at that moment of time there is no flow of blood from the ventricles into the respective any of the blood vessels. This stage is joint diastole. Now when we say auricular systole, this is the atria contraction and it occurs due to the wave of contraction which is stimulated by SA node. SA node हमारा pacemaker होता है. It is somewhere here, upper right side of the corner. यहाँ पर होता है SA node. This SA node, it shows stimulation. It starts a wave of contraction due to which the blood is forced into the ventricles. Because SA node is not the only one. SA node, AV bundle, bundle of His, Purkinje fibers. It's a network which is distributed all over in the septum wall or the interauricular, intraventricular, aurioventricular septum. It is finely distributed network of these blood vessels as well as the nerves which stimulate the wave of contraction. The blood is now forced into the ventricles as the bicuspid and the tricuspid valves open. तो क्या होता है? Auricular systole में these two valves open and the blood flows into the excessive blood flows into the ventricles. Then the ventricular systole. Systole means contraction of these ventricles. During this time, the ventricles begin to contract due to a wave of contraction stimulated by AV node. SA node gives its stimulation to AV node. AV node, then AV bundle, then bundle of His that I have already discussed. These all is a network which is going to start this. The bicuspid and the tricuspid valves now close immediately, producing a part of the first heart sound. Whenever the blood from here is received here in the ventricles, these two valves immediately close. Closure of these two will create the first heart sound. Then, when the ventricles complete their contraction, the blood flows into the pulmonary trunk and aorta. अब यहाँ से pulmonary में जाएगा, यहाँ से aorta में जाएगा. And as the seminal valves open, अब क्या होगा? Since these are closed, these will open and allow the blood flow to take place to the respective blood vessels. Ventricular diastole. Now the third part of it. Ventricular diastole, that means the relaxation of these ventricles. The ventricles, they will relax and the seminal valves are closed. When these are going to close, when this is going to relax, these are going to get closed. Why? So that there is no backflow of blood into the respective ventricles, since they have done their part and they are in a relaxed state now. Fine. Closure of these two, the seminal valves. Clear? This one and this one. These will create the second heart sound. And then once these are relaxed, these are already in a state of relaxation. Here comes the complete diastole. The tricuspid and the bicuspid valves will open. When the pressure in the ventricles fall and the blood flows from the atria into the ventricles, contraction of heart does not cause the blood flow. Why? Because the pressure within the relaxed ventricles is very less than the atria and the veins. Alright. जो आर्टरीज और वेन्स के अंदर प्रेशर होता है वो बहुत ज़्यादा होता है कंपेयर टू द प्रेशर विच इज़ देयर इन अ रिलैक्स्ड हार्ट. सो नो मोर ब्लड फ्लो टेक्स प्लेस. अल्टीमेटली व्हाट हैपन्स, we have achieved a state of joint diastole once again. Alright, so what are the different phases that we have discussed? The first one is joint diastole. The second one is auricular systole, when the blood is flows into the ventricles, and then is the ventricular systole. During that time, when the ventricular systole takes place, then only we listen to the first heart sound. Then ventricular systole, when it goes on and on, it will allow the seminal valves to open. Blood is forced into the respective blood vessels, and after this, when the ventricle diastole achieved, that means the beginning, during the beginning of the ventricular diastole, the ventricles are set to relax immediately. The seminal valves will close and the second heart sound is produced. So, the stages are joint diastole, auricular systole, ventricular systole and ventricular diastole based on it. Moving to what is cardiac output. Since this entire shows one cardiac cycle. One cycle means when it shows the flow of blood from the heart. Now we say the amount of blood pumped by the heart per minute is called the cardiac output. It is the amount of blood pumped by heart per minute. See, if we come to a normal calculation, heart of a human, that means a normal person, it beats for about 72 times in a minute, and it pumps 70 ml of blood per beat. Okay, so what is actual calculation now? So cardiac output is heartbeat, that is the number of times it beats, into the amount of blood it is forced to pump. It comes out to be 5040 ml. That means about 5 liters per minute, which is equivalent to the total body blood volume, that is about 5 liters in our body. Clear? Then what is a heartbeat that we have just discussed? Heartbeat, and how is it different from pulse? These are two related terms. This is the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of heart. It is the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of aorta along with its main arteries. This is entirely due to the flow of blood from heart and is dependent on the rate of heartbeat. It is regulated by nervous as well as endocrine system. That means our hormonal control. We say, no, your heartbeat is going very fast. Pulse is directly related to this heartbeat, that whenever there is a flow of blood from the heart, it is dependent on the rate of heartbeat. And this one is completely regulated by the nervous and endocrine system. This complete heartbeat consists of one systole and one diastole. This is a jerk of an artery. It depends on the rate of heartbeat. Clear? Thank you.